Hey everyone, welcome back to Rogue 16. We are doing an kind of, I guess, an unboxing. Obviously, we have we have the AT-AT helmets out already, so there is not a complete unboxing, but we are kind of just wanting to talk through our experiences opening this thing, how it came to us, our thoughts, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of an unboxing and talking. So
Not the
anyway,
conventional of this is how it was packed unboxing.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, RS Propmasters AT-AT helmet. I mean, I will say to start with, packed. For me, it was packed very well. I thought the box, my box came in pretty unscathed. I still had some issues. Jason had some issues. I mean, overall, I think it's a fantastic helmet. I will say that there have been some things that have come up. I think Jason, you've gotten some messages from people. There's everything's gonna have its issues sometimes. It just is what
Correct.
it is. So we're gonna talk about some of that stuff, but we're also gonna give you our opinions on like kind of what we received and what how we like it, all that kind of stuff. So we'll go through all that. But yeah, I mean, Jay, you just real quick. I also have to caveat this: Jason's helmet is really broken down because he's actually gonna do the hard work of putting proper like real pieces on this thing, like found
Yeah.
parts and stuff on this. So
We just want to get ahead of yeah. So when we go through some of the things that we'll discuss, just know that I'll give a quick peek at my helmet, but it's pretty much just a shell. It's stripped
yeah,
down because I'm replacing anything that was cast with all the original found parts on it.
which is
But
great.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is really cool. I mean, and if anyone else is doing that, that's awesome. I want nothing to do with that. So mine's intact and fully
But we
ready to
also
go.
didn't want anybody to think that that was like being done because of any
Correct.
issues. Yeah, it
Correct.
wasn't for that reason. This was pre-planned
Yeah.
way ahead of time.
Yeah. This is something that Jason wanted to do for a very long time. And so he knew when he got this in, he was going to do this anyway. Um, but we can at least kind of give you an idea of straight out of the box what kind of we saw. So I'll go first. I mean, this is, first of all, this thing, I will say the paintwork on this thing I think is great. The grayish, hopefully it's coming across on camera. The gray is fantastic. I got mine weathered and chipped. Uh, I don't care what they were supposed to be like, whatever. I like my helmets weathered and chipped on top of that is fantastic. Like I just think talking with Jason, I was like, you know what? Obviously they're supposed to be clean, but after they've been out of after they used them for the movies and they've been sitting and all this other stuff being handed out around and like stored and all this stuff, they look weathered and chipped at this point, right? It is what it is. So I kind of was like, yeah, I want that look. So I went with that. And I think overall they did a great job. Really, really do. I will say I got mine in and I had, let me see which one. I think it's this one. Yeah. So I had one of these, you can't really see. Hold on. That's fine. Whatever. It's the left side here had
Like I said,
yeah,
that.
yeah, a little piece popped off. And
But
mine was glued
yeah,
on.
let's talk about that. I received a message where someone said they were all screwed up,
Right.
but we understand the reason why. The proper way to have it had been done would have been glued, but to um, basically to circumvent sending out, was it 50 each or 100 each
Some
of the red and however
something like
many of
yeah,
it,
something like that.
yeah, and having 40 or 60% of these show up with pieces popped off, and people writing in this is wrong, that's wrong,
Yeah.
because two drops of glue and you could pop it back on, the problem. But I can see, to avoid that, moving from a couple of them being glued to, okay, let's permanently put them in place
Yeah.
so we can avoid that issue. Yes.
And I will say, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this was because, for my example, I think what happened with my helmet is a good example of get some glue out, fix it yourself. Like,
Yes.
I don't agree with this whole like this piece is off of my helmet and I'm gonna hit up RS and try to get this resolved. Like, who gives a shit? Like that what you're seeing right there is super easy fix. I put glue on it, put it back on. It's fine, totally fine. So
Unless
no
something's
issues there.
genuinely missing,
Right.
two dabs of glue and you can fix
Yeah.
90% of the issues on this.
Super
Yeah.
simple. I will say the only other thing that happened for mine that I was kind of let me give you another picture here real quick. Yeah. So that gives you the idea of what that piece was that popped off. But um, so the only other thing I'll say about mine was that when I when I had the box and I was opening it, uh, I heard some rattling around. So I was like, oh gosh, hopefully I don't have to do anything crazy to this thing. Um, this was obviously one of the pieces that came off. So some of it was that, but there was also a screw inside somewhere in there, holding on the canisters in the back, and that had come undone. So the little screws, one of the little screws on the I think the right canister, I believe, something like that, had come out, and so I had to put that back in, tighten it up, and then I noticed that's when I noticed that basically almost all the screws in the helmet were loose a little bit, so I had to retighten everything. So that's probably a shipping thing, just rattling around and moving around. I would imagine that's the case. That said, you might want to check that if you have one of these. You might want to tighten the screws up and just make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
Um, and I noticed I think the left canister was a little bit wiggly, so I tightened that stuff up too. So just check that out. But that was pretty much the extent of my yeah, that was pretty much the extent of my issues. So kind of for me, happy days. Like I was pretty pumped. And then other than that, um, I think it's amazing. I think it's pretty incredible. Like, um, I I think they did a really, really, really good job with the chipping and the weathering and I think if you haven't seen pictures, I put pictures up in our group. Go check those out, of my helmet. I think it looks pretty good, and I've seen some of the other pictures in people's collections of these guys. Overall, they look great. Um,
Yeah.
this is Jason's. Hold on, Jason. Let me bring you up here. There we go.
So as you can see, mine's pretty bare bones at the moment. I
Yeah.
got discs left in, but stripped off the potentiometers, the tubing, the BOC canisters, the tape deck buttons, canisters in the back.
And you're putting all found parts on that sucker, right?
Yes. And I get a. I just haven't used any debonding yet to pop this off, but this is going to come off as well.
Okay.
So while I have this a little bare bones, I just want to point out a few things. So there's a few things on this helmet that were addressed through messages and people writing.
Real quick, Jason, just real quick.
Yeah.
Can we go over before you do all that? Can we go over how the helmet came to you?
So my helmet arrived. The box was perfect. There was no
Mm-hmm.
damage, no indentations to the
Yeah.
box. But I had a similar issue where I heard things kind of moving around.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it an easy open. Um, the metal arms to the potentiometers had both popped off.
Yep.
Again, easy fix.
Sure.
Something that a drop of glue. Nothing to really address.
Yep.
Um, Drop a glue on that, and then my would be the left ear. I heard of some people missing I think it's the red dot circle.
Oh, okay.
But mine was missing its hair, so you can see you get the white sticker.
Yep.
Mine, ironically, even though I was stripping it down, mine ironically was missing the white sticker on this side.
Mm.
So I just took the screw out so I can measure and size it, and I'm just gonna put my own on. But yeah, my I guess what they call clock Greblies potentiometers. Those both had the metal prongs popped off, but again, those were pieced together. Those were hand bent in the shop,
Mm-hmm.
and then added to. So again, it's an easy
Mm-hmm.
fix, right?
Right.
If something that isn't meant to be together was joined and then
Mm-hmm.
separates after the fact, no harm, no foul.
No big deal.
Yeah, I didn't fuss or lose sleep over it. So yeah, that's how mine arrived.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, go ahead and what you were going to talk about, Jason, about some other messages.
So yeah, so received a handful of messages over the last few days in regards to the helmet. So let me start off first by pointing out. So some people had mentioned in images, hey, like what are those indentures, right? What are these sort of markings that you can kind of, I don't know if the light's going to pull it up, but it might be tough.
We see, yeah, I see a little bit. Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, some bubbling, rippling, things like that.
Yeah.
I think that was done during the vac pull process.
Mm-hmm.
I could be incorrect. Some of that is not necessarily accurate, right? Some people ask, like, hey, is my sticker
Mm-hmm.
missing accurate? Is some of these indentures accurate? Now, the ones that you see below the chin, these flaws are obviously accurate because they're based off of
Yeah.
the Stormtrooper's face. Um, but some helmets tend to be a little bit more smoother and cleaner on the surface, where
Mm-hmm.
others aren't.
Yep.
So I think that was just part of the process. I think for those who had significant ones, like indentures that were fairly deep to the eye, especially if you don't have a battle damaged or if you have a clean version, it can stand out a little bit more and
Mm-hmm.
it can be a little off-putting.
Sure.
Um, so there's been that. The other thing that a lot of people have addressed, which is interesting but fun, we'll point it out here, is this little kind of looks like a little bite mark, if you will,
Mm.
a mohawk.
Yep.
Now, anybody who's received one should have this right in the same spot, roughly.
Yeah, I see it.
That is actually meant to be there. So if you do a deep dive on the original helmet, the helmet that was later discovered and ended up in the collection of Mr. Lane from Prop Store. It's based off that, so that actually is supposed to be there and isn't
Mm-hmm.
isn't a flaw. And I thought that was fun noticing that little nick, um, because they didn't have to add that.
Mm-hmm.
So having that little added
Right.
detail was a fun little Easter egg. Also, you'll notice, and this isn't necessarily a flaw because most people aren't going to see it anyways visually, but if you look where some people call it the teeth, the brow, whatever you want to call it. So right where this red swatch is, if you move over and touch the side here, you'll feel a little bit of an increased area or layer where you
Mm-hmm.
can touch versus the side next to it, where it's a little bit more flat. So that lift up part is also accurate.
Okay.
That's supposed to be that way, or should be slightly. They may vary where some are a little bit more prominent than others based on how that was done. Now you'll feel the same thing, right, when you put your hand there.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's also another detail that was thrown in that you won't see or find anywhere else. The other thing I noticed about the helmet, despite the fact that it's a large piece, regardless,
Yeah.
there are other helmets out there. There's licensed Anovos versions.
Mm-hmm.
There's custom versions. But despite this being a large helmet, it's actually really spot on as far as proportions go.
Mm.
And ironically, it's slightly smaller when you compare it to some of the other customs and the Novos. And it's not a small helmet by any means,
No,
guys.
it's not.
I
It's
mean,
huge.
this isn't camera trickery. I mean, this is my head compared to the helmet. Um, so the fact that, and I think it was Russell Schmidt that put up a great a great layer of comparison
Mm-hmm.
images, left, right, side, up, down,
Yeah.
all these different angles. Fantastic. I owned the Innovos probably about 3-4 years ago. Didn't have it for very long, but that's a great representation of being able to see the difference between it being done by a team that knows what they're doing and knows how to do it versus something that's being licensed. Everything from
Yeah.
the errors to the positioning, the situation of how it's laid out, and it's a much bigger helmet, the licensed version. The the details as far as what some people have pointed out, again, some things are small. Like if you're missing a sticker, you know, yeah, I guess you can write into RS.
Mm.
They can mail you one out. If something popped off, honestly, guys, I would throw some glue on. I don't think too many people are gonna have the issue of having had something popped off because
Sure.
I don't think many of them got released glued. I think most, as you can see on my helmet, where Matt's had the glue marks, this has the screw mark here, as well as on the cheeks. So normally on the screen used helmet, you wouldn't see this or this. You would see like you would on Matt's, where that was glued down, and this just kind of hung.
Hmm.
So the BOC cartridge holder and the tubing just was tucked and it hung down. There was nothing gluing in place. The tubing might have been glued or held in from up underneath the helmet. Um, but
Right.
other than that, yeah. So
Well,
there's that part.
Jason, I mean, okay, so we're we're talking about some of these minute details. Let's talk
Yep.
about real quick about some of the decisions RS made. Now, the question is, we have no idea why. We don't know if they're making it because it helps them, get these out faster.
Mhm.
We don't know if it's cost, if it, what it is, but um, there are some things that are kind of a little bit confusing as to why they chose certain things. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm gonna grab some parts now. Hold on one second.
I know one of the big things uh, that we've heard from other people. I talked to Jason about a little bit was the tubes on the front. These tubes on the front um, seem to be what they're resin or what are they? Are they? Do you know, Jason?
They look like a resin cast.
Okay.
I mean, they're pretty hard, so I would assume possibly
Yeah.
resin.
Right.
Um, you can see the cast lines here. That would be
Okay.
flipped over, obviously, so it wouldn't be in view of the
Yeah.
eye when
Right.
it's on the helmet. Um, so, from my understanding, I think if going back and watching some of the videos, I think there was a video in regards to the tubing where
Mhm.
it was a matter of being able to source the right tubing, right?
Sure.
That that concludes the direction in which it spirals, the depth or width rather. It's a half-inch diameter, so the width between each rib, right?
Hmm.
Something. So if that's something that they can't source, then it becomes an issue of okay, how do we make X amount of helmets, right?
Is
So that
there
leads me.
is there another thought too though, Jason? Like, do the tubes not last very long? Will they not last on your shelf? Will they kind of degrade over time? Is that
They
something that
shouldn't. I
they?
mean, they conduit tubes,
Yeah.
so they shouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, there's factors, right? If it's sitting in
Sure.
sunlight, things like that,
Yeah.
possibly. But on a helmet, you shouldn't see any issue. The only thing you would
Hmm.
see is maybe paint flaking or cracking. If it,
Yeah.
well, let's say the tube was originally black and they painted it gray,
Right.
then you would see that.
Well,
Uh,
maybe that. Uh, just so everyone knows, we're just trying to kind of discuss a little bit. We've talked a little bit before about this on the phone and some other things of like why RS would go this direction because I believe Jason, you said that the actual tubes aren't very hard to find, or something like them
I
aren't
mean,
very
not
hard to.
necessarily hard to find. I don't think it's a cost factor. I think it could have been an accuracy factor, but
Mm,
in my experience, I just think it's something that with enough due diligence and time, um, they could have at least been sourced. If not sourced, they could have been made.
sure.
Um, you know, if you look at the ones on the Innovos, they're actual tubes.
Yeah.
Um, and they're pretty damn good as far as width,
Mm,
length, etc. Detail. So yeah, but again, when it comes to RS, everything comes down to accuracy, right?
mm, hmm.
And that could be, like I said, even the spacing between
Sure.
um, each curve there. So yeah, it's a tough one. I'm gonna be transparent. This, although it may not be a big deal for a lot of people, kind of chafed me a little bit.
Sure.
Most people are gonna take it, put it on their shelf, and no one's gonna be the wiser.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the one that noticed. I did have other people notice and ask me, "Oh, well, was this the way it was in the movie? Was
Right.
it a piece of cast resin?" And It wasn't.
Yeah.
So, well, actually, let me just be careful because these aren't in the archives. There's only two in existence. They
Yeah.
were converted.
You're right. Right.
So I never got my hands on one, and I can't say 1,000% for sure. But through hearsay, through conversations with the right people, I believe them to not be that.
Okay.
So some other interesting things. And mine arrive like this, but this doesn't bother me because this just adds to the element. But
Yeah.
my bumpers here had a little bit of crackling of paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people who got the clean version might be a little bit rough
Well,
by that, but
so we talked about this, Jason. In my opinion, a lot of the like things that you could possibly have issues with. This isn't
I think it adds character.
this isn't for everything. Yeah, sure, it adds character. But what I'm saying is that if you got this weathered or weathered and chipped, even better, I think you're some of this stuff like is like great. Like
Yeah,
like honestly, there's not a whole lot that I would look at on my helmet and go, I have an issue with it because I asked for it to be weathered and chipped, and it's kind of like almost anything can happen to this thing, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. I think if you're asking for a clean helmet and kind of anything is wrong with it, even the rippling in the vac pool or whatever you said, Jason, like even some of that like rippling and bubbling or dents or whatever on mine, I kind of don't give a shit. Like I kind of
yeah,
don't care because I look at mine and I go, well, yeah, it's got freaking chips and like weathered stuff all over. Like I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I can understand on a more cleaner helmet that you might be more concerned about it. Shit, I mean, hell, you might be more concerned about it no matter what. But it
correct.
just doesn't bother me. It just doesn't bother me. So,
No,
um,
and I hear you on that. Like I said, when my bumpers had some cracking paint, I just think
yeah,
it adds character because
sure.
in normal handling, even during the production of the prop being made, these are rubber feet that were
Hmm.
painted over, so that would
Hmm.
normally happen, right? Whenever you paint rubber,
Yeah.
it's not going to stick, and it's going to have exactly the same look and aesthetic of the paint coming undone.
Hmm.
Let's go a little further. So here is an original Sony TC67
Hmm.
with the red and blue caps spun over to show the silver side. So that's the original. Here's the RS version. So I gotta say, as usual, spot on.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's the cast. I mean, I'm holding them a little far apart from each other, but the RS,
Yeah. It looks great.
one. Then if you look at the sides, I mean, sorry, just trying to line that up.
Yeah, it looks good.
Looks great. I already drove the nail through this one because just to hold it in place, I'm going to do it that way. But the backs. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you almost can't tell the difference between. If I didn't tell
Hmm.
you, I think maybe other than the reflection of the silver. But if I didn't tell you, I don't think you'd know the
Yeah. I
difference.
don't know. Right.
Same here. So we're going to hold these side to side. So this is the RS,
Hmm.
and this is the real. Didn't finish painting the bottom on this or sanding it, but the RS, the real. And for those, a lot of people were pointing out like, oh, well, why the RS one straight and on other helmets they got this little separation here. So I'll actually explain that real quick because getting into a little deep dive of this is a little fun, right? So when you see custom helmets and you sometimes see
Hmm.
this red area split, um, or you see like I think maybe Ninos it might be bulged like that. The reason why that was done is when you're removing these, you're removing them from a tape recorder that's what 50 years old, Sony tape recorder that's 50 years old, and they're buttons. They're play, stop, rewind, fast forward buttons. That's what these are. There's metal parts that come out of here and go into the tape recorder. Well, trying to get those out of 40 years of dried hot glue
Sure.
is 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 not fun.
Yeah.
So there's a lot
Hmm.
of heating up, a lot of yanking and pulling, and so these sometimes separate and bulge open, which is why sometimes on customs or replicas you'll see a bulge versus a straight. So all this means is it's not correct or incorrect. It just means that Rob or whomever um,
Whatever they decided to.
dismantled
Yeah.
dismantled just did a very clean job. So it
Yeah.
just means that the
Right.
metal was removed from here very cleanly. So there's no real right or wrong way to do that.
Sure.
At the end of the day, I mean, you can't tell the difference between which one came off the tape deck and which one didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that I think is fantastic as well.
Yeah.
So the BOC canisters, same thing. These
Mm-hmm.
are getting harder and harder to come by. So there's a larger part that comes off here and kind of spirals out, which was sanded down very nicely. This is the RS one. Um, and then you'll see it actually comes off a real BOC cartridge holder. And that's for when you're, 40, 50 years ago,
Sure.
when you're turning cream into whipped cream, you would put a nitrous cartridge in here, twist it,
Mm-hmm.
whoosh, it'd whip it right up. So these came out great. I gotta tip my hat because
Do
these
you
look.
have the actual versions of those, or are
I do
you
not, just not in front of me, but I
okay?
do, and
Okay.
these are, yeah, these are. I just haven't sent mine down yet,
Yeah.
but these are pretty spot on. This is the most interesting part. Now keep in mind, like I said, when I received mine, the bent piece here had come undone. But
Mm,
again, it wasn't joined to begin with. They joined it in the shop,
sure.
so it popping off is not a big deal. Um, what's interesting is they actually did probably the best job I've ever seen on replicating these,
Mm,
um, because these aren't cast resin. These are
right.
actually now this isn't mine. This is from the RS helmet. So they nailed this.
I mean, is it the actual piece? I mean,
It's not the actual piece. It's off by about a millimeter.
okay. Okay. I
We
mean,
haven't.
it looks pretty freaking.
It looks the part. Yeah, it hasn't been 100% identified as to is it the 15 millimeter, 60 millimeter,
Sure.
which particular piece, but they actually ordered actual potentiometers. They bent these inner pieces here.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
real metal. You can bend them back, painted them, and then the piece that comes off here is added in just like it was in the movie,
Yeah.
and then bent down as you see on your helmet. But yeah, I mean,
It's
I was
crazy.
really happy to see when I popped it off that it's the real McCoy, man. So
You got to wonder, like, when people made this originally. I mean, obviously, they just took a freaking typewriter helmet, TIE fighter helmet, and just painted it gray, right?
correct, yeah.
Um, like putting these Greeblies on, like, how do they, like, what, why bend certain things a certain, like, what's the reasoning behind some of that? It's like
You're
so
right. This is the
crazy.
thing. What's the rhyme or reason, right? It could be for like how it fit,
Yeah,
how it looked, how they thought it looked at the moment,
it's
what looked
crazy.
cool, what looked like sci-fi-ish, and any number of those things. But that's the best part, right? Oh, and the other thing, so the Mitchell turntable part that goes
Mm-hmm.
between the eyes. Again, spot on. I think it has a slight bevel where the original one didn't, but or the original one could have just been a little bit worn down. But again, size, like I compared mine to the one on the helmet, and it's 99.99% as accurate as can be, and you're just not gonna see that anywhere else. So, um, although it's been a busy few days with messages and discussions, I think there have been some QC issues. I think there have been
Mm-hmm.
some people that have been concerned. Some were unsure and didn't really want to speak out openly or post about it because they weren't sure. Is it supposed to be this way? Is it
Sure.
not supposed to be this way? Those are genuine questions and reasons. As to whether you should or shouldn't, bring things up. And again, something popping off during shipping, not a big deal. Use some glue. If a sticker is missing, I mean, a lot of these stickers can be found on Amazon or even Staples, but if you just want to be 100% sure you get the right thing, just send them an email and they'll take care of you. But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, they made a beautiful helmet. Um,
They really did. I mean, there's you're gonna find in anything you buy, you're probably gonna find things that you can nitpick. There's no doubt. I do think you know there's some more things that aren't necessarily nitpicky, that I think people are gonna be frustrated about a little bit. I would say one of the big things probably is this kind of a thing.
yeah,
I think this is one of the big, like, why are these things? Why do they have?
those look like Brad Pitt's cheeks. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, why do they look like why do they have like little dimples and bumps and maybe I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if that's I from Jason what you've been telling me that's not supposed to be there, right? but
Not
I
to,
don't. Mm,
not to that degree. And
sure,
any anomalies in any helmet are normal to see.
sure,
The problem is like when you're looking at that in the chair, the one on the teeth, like every helmet's going to have that.
yeah,
This varies across the board. Some people have significant ones. Some people have almost none. Some people
right,
have a very clean surface. Some people have more in the back. Some people
yeah,
have significant ones in the front. So because there's so many variations in that, where it goes from almost non-existent to significant,
yeah,
I think that's where some of the frustrations might come out. And I think of all the little nuances I've heard and discussed with some people over the last few days, the biggest of them all, I think, were those small dimples and indentations having such an inconsistency across the board, where some people are like, mine got none. I
totally,
can
yeah, yeah,
notice it.
yeah, 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 for sure,
Others are like, hey,
yeah,
I notice mine more than others. And it could just be anything from the way it was pulled
yeah.
and, and what stage was
The
yours pulled.
the hardest part, and I know Jason when he initially got this thing, I think some of these things were a little more concerning to
Prominent.
him.
Yeah,
At first, I think you've sat on them a little bit. I think, especially now because you're kind of putting your own kind of pieces on this thing, it's a little bit different. But that said, like you're a little bit concerned at first. I will say, like, I'm not the guy, right? Like in talking with Jason, I was like, look, I hear you, but I like, I may have some of the same issues, and it doesn't bother me. Like, it really depends on who it is and what level of things bother you. I will say that, like, we have heard a couple of people say, well, like QC wise, like this isn't an Anovos helmet,
yeah,
cost wise. This is an RS helmet that cost a good bit of money, let's say. So yeah, QC should be a thing that is a thing, right? Like they should be
correct.
QCing these things, and I agree. Um, but I will say that there hasn't been much that's bothered me. I will say though that there one of the things that did bother me, and I don't know if this is, I still can't tell completely, Jason, if this should bother me or not. To be honest, um, it's this situation with the canisters. Um, I can't tell. We've talked about RS before and how they do a lot of, like, which I love with some of their other helmets, like the Boba Fett helmet and um, the I'm trying to think.
Subtractive painting.
Yeah, some of their stormtrooper helmets where they've done the chipping and stuff. It's very subtractive, right? They paint it and then they chip it off, and you can see the underneath parts of
It
it. And
comes
it's
from beneath. Yeah.
right. It looks
Rather
really good, as it would in a natural, like when you're moving this thing around, banging it around, setting it down. It's going to do the same thing. So I love that. This I can't tell. I'm pretty positive this is additive. Like they actually added these things onto it, but I'm not 1,000%. I mean, even looking at it close, as bad as my eyes are these days, like I can't fully tell if it's like that or not. If it's the more I look at it, the more I feel like it is additive and not subtractive, but I could be wrong. That's the one thing that's I've been kind of looking at, being like, I don't know, which that was the one thing that I was kind of like not sure about. I mean that looks additive to me. That looks like paint. Someone painted, but I could be wrong. Again, the, you know, I don't know. I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy to talk about a lot of this stuff. Like I like it overall. I think it's a fantastic helmet. Um, but those are some of the small things that I've seen.
and a few other things. It looks like because they had access to the original screen used at that if you own a tie helmet,
Mm-hmm.
normally the AT-AT would have been built exactly the same. But it looks like we all know that the tie was repurposed, but they assembled it slightly different. Um, it's going to be
Yeah.
hard to really point out the how and the why, but it's interesting because you get to sort of take a peek. Like, well, we don't get to see and handle the real helmet, but based on the way RS did this, that kind of gives you an indirect look and feel as to what they were able to see and what they were able to pick up. by looking at the original, which I really like that.
Yeah.
That's fun. So yeah, the other I was gonna say the one other thing that was discussed, and again, it's tricky, right? The Mohawk,
Hmm.
the paint application of the Mohawk. Now, in the rear one, it's heavy, it's thick,
Okay.
it's on there, it's slapped on. It isn't a smooth
Sure.
airbrush. It isn't a smooth, clean, slick paint job. But at the same time, some of them look to have had almost like a little bit of debris in the paint,
Okay.
um, versus just that sort of heavy, quick, like let's get this thing painted and on screen look
Right.
as it should have. Um, and yeah, some had a little bit of debris and little markings, and I think that's just going to happen when you're working
Sure.
in a workspace like that. But again, this isn't a $200 helmet; it's $1,000 helmet, at least for us here in the U.S.
Yeah.
after conversion. And I think little things like that. I don't know. I think something like that could have been caught and probably cleaned up
Sure.
before it got packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tread lightly because these are things that we don't want to hammer too hard.
No,
Uh,
and it doesn't. It's not helpful to go in on RS for again some of the things we don't know for sure what their decision making was on some of these things. Um, obviously they spent time thinking about it, so there's reasons behind all some of these choices they've made, right?
mhm.
Um, but other things you're kind of looking at it going like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But again, overall, it is a nice helmet. Um, I think I know mine's gonna look great on my shelf. Like, I'm excited to get the thing on my shelf. I mean, we've I've been having this thing just sitting out because we've been waiting to do this kind of unboxing and talking type of thing, and I've just been I've had it set out, and it's just so big. I just want to get it on my shelf because I'm excited to see it next. I'm gonna try to put it on my Hoth shelf. So it's huge though. It's really big.
Yeah, it's got a very imposing feel to it too from the side,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a trooper. You know,
Yeah. I'll see if I can find.
the color though. One thing I'm going to give them the color on this,
I know it's great.
beautiful,
It's absolutely
absolutely
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Let
And
me
let's
see
not
if
even entertain the argument as to whether it's gray or white. It's gray. It's supposed to be gray. It's meant to be gray. If it looks white, or if you kind of figure it was white, or
yeah,
any other way you see it as white is just basically wash out and
yeah, and
photography.
and and I'm gonna bring some pics up that I took of this guy. Um, I mean, it's honestly it's a fun helmet to take pictures of. It's beautiful. It really is. Um, if you don't if you didn't pick this up, I'm sure you're probably like kind of kicking yourself because of all the pictures you're seeing all over the place. It's really nice. You know, so it's got all these cool greeblies and metal pieces all over it, and I mean, look at that. It's freaking. Those things, these are the things you were talking about, Jason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the longer pins that come off. Yep.
yeah, so cool. Um, Man, it's a beautiful piece. I don't even think like even in my pictures I couldn't capture the gray very well. It's hard to
It's
capture
always
the
the
gray.
gray is always hard. Hence the long argument of gray versus white, right?
Right.
Because we see so many customs that are white.
Yep.
I think the only time we saw it slightly gray was when Anovos did it, but I think based on the info they had, because even most of the figures you get, even up to current date Black Series, they're more on the white side. They might have a tinge of gray, but yeah. If you remove the padding inside, you'll see some of the funner detail that if you care, based on the way the mohawk is made. So they have these three strips starting in the front,
Mm-hmm.
center, back, and that was mimicked exactly as the original helmet was made and held together. And then you'll see sort of a right and left, from the joint, the pieces
Yep.
being joined, and the mohawk being applied. But yeah, it's just great to know that you're getting a little sort of sneak peek into what the real helmet looked like when they gathered that additional detail.
Gosh, it is a fantastic. It's just such an interesting looking helmet.
It really is, and I love how go back. So see how you have the build up around the bubble lens.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, so on the real screen used helmet, if you find some decent pictures and you zoom in, it's got that paint buildup right
Right.
around the lens. So that's just a fun, nice little added touch.
Yeah, that's one of those things where when I looked at it, I mean that's okay. So that's such an interesting thing with RS, where if you order an RS helmet and if this is like the first RS helmet you're
If
getting,
you
you're
don't
gonna,
know better, you're gonna get
dude,
aggravated.
you're gonna get aggravated. You're gonna be in for a surprise when you get the thing, because you're gonna think, what is this? What is that? Like, why does this look this like shit here? Why does it look like? Well, there's a reason for a lot of this stuff, right? And like Jason was saying, like they did this stuff.
This is how the screen use
They did
helmet
it.
looks.
They did a lot of this stuff pretty
It's
damn
got it's got
fast.
overspray over the lens. It's
Yeah,
it's there, and I almost wish I had that on my helmet. I mean, I can add it as far
yeah,
as the color exact would be a little bit
right.
difficult, but I loved when I first saw the image that you showed me. I loved seeing that because
Mm,
getting the clean one, I didn't know that existed, and I was like, oh, what a fun
yeah,
little Easter egg to have. Because you're right, and that was the thing. There are some first time buyers here,
yeah,
and that's why I wanted to pick out the little tooth mark here, because a
right.
lot of people were
Yeah,
mentioning little indentation, and I'm like,
yeah,
no, that's supposed to be there.
yeah,
Um, you know, and see that put a smile on my face, and seeing that build
yeah.
up and overspray around the lens, like that's just come on,
It's
man.
all. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the way it's done.
yeah. You gotta love that.
Yeah, I
No, for
mean,
sure. I mean that's the kind of thing that I love RS for. Like just like with Regal. Regal has their things where you look at someone and you're like, damn, that Regal robot. They just killed this whatever.
yeah.
RS, I love that they do those little interesting details, and I love that some of their helmets come and you're like, man, like it's crazy how like how like quick they were to make some of these things for the movies,
Hmm.
and how like they just were kind of trying to piece shit together and get it on screen. And it shows in the actual like helmet or prop replica or whatever, right? Like
I mean, even the red stripe, man.
freaking
There's only
yeah,
two AT-AT helmets, but they on screen it shows us two sets of drivers. They
right,
took the same two remaining helmets, slapped a sticker on it.
right,
Now you have four drivers.
yeah,
Like, you work with what you got. You
yeah,
save money. You make it fast, and you
yeah,
know. And then if we're going down that rabbit hole just a little bit, I had a couple people point out things like the little box in the back, and I'm like, guys, that's not supposed to be a perfect box. That's
right,
because somebody hand painted it.
yeah.
If
It's
you're in
crazy.
the prop department and you're being told, "Hey, we need this to be shot in 30 seconds," you're not going to be like, "Hold on," and put masking tape, and no, you're just going to paint the box to the best of your ability and get it out there. Um,
Yeah,
and those are the things that you want to see. You don't want to see perfection. Um,
yeah, right,
yeah,
right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I listen. Overall, I'm extremely happy. I do get it. There's going to be things that are a bit concerning. Even I think to to this day, which is we're recording this on the weekend. Um, in what late August, early September, whatever that is. We're Jason. You're still getting messages from people saying like, I don't know, like this and that. Like, there's gonna be some issues. I'm sure RS are gonna hear some things. I would think. But for my side of things, I'm very happy with what I've got. Um, I had to fix some things when it came in. That's fine, no big deal. Um, but overall, I'm really happy with ordering getting the weathered and chip version. I love it. Um, and then Jason, I'm really excited to see what you do with yours, because I know you're gonna kind of piece this thing together with actual found parts, which is really cool.
yeah. I do it with most most RS helmets. I mean, not some don't need it. Like the Biker
Sure.
Scout, the thing you change out is the
Hmm.
3M for the
Yeah.
flip.
You did it with the Boba Fett, right? Their Boba Fett helmet.
The Boba Fett I did completely. The
Yeah.
Borden, the
Yeah.
SX70, the MQ1, the
Right.
yeah, the PCB board. I did the whole shebang. Did it more than once. So the only thing I'm not going to do on this is the tusks,
Yeah.
just because I don't know the identification on the piece of hair. The tusks should be in two parts. The turntable piece here should have
Hmm.
been inserted rather than machined as one solid piece.
Hmm.
And I don't think that was a cost or a time savings tactic. I think that was just a factor of what's easier.
Sure.
So yeah, I would have liked to have seen that extra step of having this piece machined separate and then inserted into there. But at the end of the day, again, that's who's going to know that?
Yeah.
Like, three people.
Right.
Um, I don't think it's going to. I mean, they even have one thing that they did add was you see the hole for the
Yeah. Let me
turntable
bring
part
that
there.
up. Hold on.
So that is
Yeah.
in there. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
so
cool.
that was added. So that I like. Oh, and the other thing that you won't see on any of the helmet either is let me see if I can pop this out a little bit.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, guys, don't try this on.
Okay.
All right, so these this you
Mm.
won't see on any of the AT-AT helmet. Um, there's some beautiful customs out there, even the Innovos license one, which
Hmm.
is pretty decent for what it is. You can buy these parts machined from plenty of custom makers,
Yeah.
and it's all a complete full circle. But it's actually not supposed to be. So if you look at it this way, it looks like a complete full circle, but that's only because of this integer
Yeah.
that
It's kind of
covers
sitting on
it.
the indent. Yeah.
It covers it,
Hmm.
but that's actually accurate, and then it gets tucked. Yeah. So
Hmm.
they cut this down in order to make it. I'm assuming that originally it was a full circle, and it was cut down, but I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't. But RS is the only people I've seen get this right so far, which that made me happy to see that.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, don't pop yours up, guys.
Yeah. No, it's killer, man. Congrats, honestly, to everybody that's getting these in their collection. Um, Congratulations to RS Propmasters, all the people that worked on this and built it, put it together for everybody. I know there's probably still some that need to be going out to people. I don't know when they're going to finish the whole run necessarily, um, but yeah,
That's an answer I don't have. I
yeah,
appreciate people reaching out to me unsolicited and asking me about my feedback and what I might know or what I might not know, and
sure, yeah,
questions I wasn't able to answer because I just don't have all the answers. Is other people who are, much more, you know, um,
yeah,
much more expertise on these things than I do. But as far as what shipping and when, that I mean, I can't. I was asked that quite a few times, guys. I
mhm,
don't. We're
yeah.
we have a rapport with RS, but we don't know that stuff, and I can't answer that. So yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully at some point, I don't know if down the line we can jump on with Rob or Simon or somebody and discuss the edit, and some of the choices they made.
Mhm.
That might be interesting. Overall, I think they've done a fantastic job, and I think on your in your display when you put this on your shelf, it's gonna look great. I just think
Yes. Oh
I
yeah.
think it's gonna look fantastic. I'm very much the type of person that kind of doesn't really know so much better, and I'm just happy to put this thing on my shelf. Jason's a little different. He's gonna know all the little ins and outs and bits and bobs, and um, so I guess it just depends on kind of where you're at on that scale. If something might bother you or not. And so I think that just depends on and the helmet that you get is going to have different, maybe you got a helmet that's great, perfect, good to go, awesome, put
Yeah.
it on your shelf. Maybe you get one that's got some issues with it. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. We're seeing like I see people posting this in the groups, Hyperdrive, our group, some other groups, and a lot of them look great. A lot of them look
They do
really
look
good.
amazing. Yeah,
So and there's some that I see posted that have kind of the similar issues that kind of some of the stuff that we've talked about. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see what happens, but overall, I'm happy. I do understand. I mean, it's an expensive helmet. I get it. You would want most of these issues to be QC'd before they went out and fixed,
yeah.
right?
But
Um,
I think 99.9% of these things are fixable. They're super easy. If you can't fix them yourself, a replacement sticker or something like
yeah,
that is an easy.
totally. I think the frustration for some people are the things that they can't fix. You can't fix anything if you have wavy.
Yeah, for those that if it's supposed to sort of be part of the mold or in the mold, and it's supposed to be subtle, but you got one that's a little bit more significant and
Mm-hmm.
stands out a lot more. And you made a good point when we talked about this previously off screen that when you have something that's slightly weathered or slightly weathered and chipped, it sort of adds to that used and abused, sort of battle
Totally.
worn
I think it
post
makes a
production
huge
handling.
difference.
Yeah, post production handling.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have something that's slick and clean like an iPhone and it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb,
Yep.
then yeah, it might irk you a little more. But
Yep.
again, some of it does belong there and should be there.
Yep.
And the ones that are a little bit more pronounced, I think at the end of the day, it's a nice enough helmet that I think most will be able to you know sit with it and be happy. One thing I will note though, when you guys are getting these boxes and cutting them open, just be careful. I had not one but two people when they were cutting open. The cards are facing the top, and just kind of
Mm,
cut the card a little bit.
yeah.
So yeah, just you know,
Yeah.
go easy when
Just
you're
be
when you're
careful.
working.
And one
Yeah.
thing we didn't mention, which there's not much to mention. It does come with a signature. Signature's great. The plaque, I had no problem with any of that stuff. That stuff
The
came in
update, the
fine.
update to the update to the card and the COA though, hats off, man.
Yeah.
The COA is black. It looks
Yeah. It
beautiful.
looks good. Looks
The
good.
art card, it's a little bit of a difference from which I know people collect the art cards. I know some even display them.
Hmm.
It might throw you off a little bit because it's a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? It's just got a lot more of a technical artistic look to it. I
I
I
wish I had that
personally,
on hand. I took my box already took my box of storage, so I didn't have it on hand
you want me to
at
grab it? Want me to show real
yeah,
quick
yeah.
or
Let's grab it real quick and show her just so people know what you're talking about. Um, like I said, the signature's fantastic. No issues there. It's all great. The art card, yeah, like Jason said, be careful when you open the box. You can mess it up. So just be careful there. But overall, again, the packaging is fantastic. This is one of the best packaged helmets that I've ever gotten from RS. I think they it's got foam that's made that feels like it's made specifically for this helmet, like foam sections. Um, yeah, even though I did have some slight issues with the shipping stuff, it's still. I mean, I felt like it was packed really well. So so yeah, that no issues there. Um, and then the stand that it comes with is the same stand that you get all the other RS helmets, all the what all the other RS helmets come with. It's that X. What is it? X. I can't remember what it's called, but it's fine. It's whatever. It's not. It's fine. I think if you want to upgrade your stands at this point, in my opinion, I haven't done it yet. I want to. I think you go with the Tom Spina design stands. They are. I think they're like fully metal. Um, they're really they look really nice. And that's the stuff that I want to update my stands to. I don't think they're. I think they're. I don't know what the price is, but it's enough that I don't want to. I haven't pulled the trigger yet because I have to get like 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Otherwise, yeah, I mean it's great. all the stuff's free, really, it came in really, really great. Jay, you
So
got
as
this? You got
usual,
it?
yeah, as usual, we get the King of Trooper sticker. I think this is the first time we've seen it with the AT-AT. I don't know. I get the Biker Scout, um,
Yeah.
get the TIE Pilot, get the
Such a
Stormtrooper.
killer
So
sticker.
fantastic,
Yeah, it's so cool.
fantastic. The COA, which is a nice little dress up. I think it's signed by Simon, and then get your Arkham on there. So just cover that. But yeah, it's got
Very
the black
nice.
vibe going on, and then yeah, man, this is just sexy.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool
Sorry,
art card.
it's in the little
Yeah, yeah.
Mylar bag. So and then even so, the ones with the red stripe got the
Yeah.
the red stripe going, and it says signature edition AT-AT Pilot red stripe variant. So and if you have the non-red stripe, then this won't obviously won't be here. But yeah, just love the side view, the profile, and
Jay, do
get
you
the
know anyone that
RS.
got? Do you know anyone that got both? The
I
the
think
the, the
about,
red stripe, non-red stripe.
yeah, I know about two or three people that picked up both. Now it'd be interesting if somebody picked up one of each
Mm,
plus a clean slash weathered, and
mm.
um, yeah, having quite a variation there. But it's consistent with size. So for anybody who frames these, hangs these, and has them with all their other helmets, then yeah, at least it'll frame nicely size wise. But I do like the sort of glow up or the dress up on this, and I like the RS logo in red over the black.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, love the whole look of it. Yeah,
Love it.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks killer, man. And yeah, I mean, I mentioned the stands, Jason, like the normal RS stands,
Mhm.
and just said that if people want to upgrade their stands, the Tom Spina design stands are really nice. Um,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those. I like
mhm,
those.
yeah. So, but yeah, overall, guys, I mean, that's about it. We didn't want to do this and not kind of cover some of the issues that people have had, or that we've heard of. Um, if you come across anything else that we haven't talked about, maybe hit us up.
Yeah,
Probably Jason, because that's more people hit you up than anything else. Um,
give me a break.
but let us know in the comments or on Facebook, kind of what kind of condition your helmet's coming in and how you're liking it. But overall, I'm very happy, Jason. I know once you get all the
Yeah,
the stuff
love
on,
it.
you're gonna be loving that
And
thing. So
I don't think we're leaking anything here or spoiling anything here, but having the relationship we've had with RS for as many years as we have, this isn't this wasn't new when it went up for pre-order. This is something that
mm,
they've been working on,
yeah,
actually made a few prototypes of, and I
mhm.
think we've even talked to them about back in 2021, 2020, 2021. So
Mhm.
the testament to that is, and Rob and crew has always sort of lived by this, that if they can't get it right or they can't do it right, it's not
Well,
going to be done until they can.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
Well, Jason, I mean, the crazy thing is we talked with RS about doing like an exclusive at one point with for the AT-AT.
yeah.
Like I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a stand or
The
something.
two versions with the Veers, and
Yeah,
it would be a exclusive stand.
yeah, like an exclusive stand to hold all three, like the two AT-ATs and then the Veers. It would have been so
Yes.
cool. Um, yeah, that was a while back ago, but like, yeah, I mean, the stuff they do is so killer. And I look, I'll be probably one of the first in line to get that Veers whenever that comes out. Um, I think that will be one they end up coming out with eventually. I don't know when, but that would look great with this helmet right next to it. Looks so good. So, um, yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for us, guys. So I appreciate you hanging. I know this is a long one, so I appreciate it. So we'll see you in a little bit.